Hello everybody, I'm here with the best and worst security footage to come out of all of these cameras. Today we are going to be discussing what the security footage caught at 3 o'clock in the morning in this abandoned hospital. Let's get into it. But before we do, please make sure that you hit that like button. It really helps us out and it helps our channel grow. If you're new here, well hey, welcome to our family. We've got a ton of stuff on paranormal investigation, ghost stories, scary things, security footage, all that good stuff. So make sure to subscribe so you don't miss anything. Alright guys, let's go. I'm here with a video that is pretty wild, and this one comes from an old mental institution in West Virginia. The whole place has been closed off since 2004, but people still find their way into the facility, despite how dangerous it is. These next clips are just from security cameras inside the building itself, and even though it's completely abandoned, there seems to be some movement going on around the place. The first thing that you can see right away is a shadow that goes across the camera lens. And then it pans over to where another shadow is standing in front of the door. You can see both of them, and then they kind of come out of the shadows and start looking around. Now you can't see their faces, but it does look like two human figures. They're standing, they're walking around, and as you can tell by the lack of light in the room, it's dark. It looks like they brought flashlights or some other light source with them because they were not afraid of the complete darkness. It's 3 a.m., you know. Most people would be sleeping, but I guess not these two. And of course, the title of the video says that they were caught on camera. It was recorded by the security camera, but now they're watching the security camera. They're going to walk out the door, and then once they go through the door, they actually turn and start facing the camera. One of them has a little bit of a hood up, and the other one has his head down. Either way, it's pretty freaky to me that they were on hiding and they turned around and looked right at the camera. Now, obviously, there's going to be a lot of skeptics in the comments saying, there's a perfectly reasonable explanation for this. Let me say that I agree. There probably is a perfectly reasonable explanation, but I don't know what it is. And neither does the person who posted this footage, because they said that they didn't release the rest of the footage because it was too long. So we don't get to see any more than what we already saw. However, it is odd that those two people would be standing there in the middle of the night. So what do you think about this one? Is there a perfectly reasonable explanation, or is this something else? Let me know in the comments. I want to know your thoughts. Next, we're going to move to the parking lot outside of the hospital. This one doesn't have as much activity except for the fact that someone is driving around. You can see headlights and taillights and everything, but there's no one in the car. And I say that because the person who posted this said that he went back and checked the footage from inside the car and there was no one there. And if you're thinking, why would you check the footage from inside the car? He said that when he originally posted it, a lot of people had said that there was somebody sitting in the driver's seat. So he went back and checked it and made sure, and there was no one there. You can see the car pull in and then go back out again. You can see it clearly, but the weird part is, there is nobody in it. I'm not sure why anybody would drive the car, or how they would drive the car, because there's no one in it. Maybe somebody was sitting in the back seat. I don't know. Like I said, there's a perfectly reasonable explanation for this. I'm sure there is. But I personally can't think of what it could be. Now, if we go back to the original video, you can see that it cuts out at a certain point, and it says that it was cut out because it was too long. But it also says that the reason he's not posting the rest of it is because it's too long. I mean, I understand that it's too long if you're going to post it online. But the original video is only 25 seconds. It's not like it's terribly long. It's a pretty short video, but if he was cutting it together and it was too long, he could have just cut out the parts where it's just him walking and investigating and, you know, sightseeing and exploring. There's a perfectly reasonable explanation for this. I'm sure there is, but I personally can't think of what it could be. There's been plenty of times on our own channel where we VA investigated somewhere, and we VA gotten video footage back from the security footage, and it's nothing but us. We have hours and hours of footage from different places that we VA investigated that are literally just us walking around. Now you might say, well then, just cut out the parts where you're talking and explaining stuff, and we have done that. In fact, we did a video very recently where we showed an hour and a half of security footage that we got from a haunted house, and we trimmed out all of the parts where we were talking and everything, and we still ended up with 47 minutes of video. I mean, honestly, you could stretch that into a movie. If you want to see something else from this hospital, we'll go ahead and link the full-length video in the description below. But I'm not going to show it here because it is a little bit long, and it is like 45 minutes long. So if you want to watch it, you can watch it there. And finally, let's go back to the beginning of the video where you can see those two people walking around. If you watch it again, you'll notice that there's a little girl that walks between them. She's wearing what looks to be like a nightgown, and she's walking past them, and then she stops and looks at the camera. I mean, this is a mental hospital, so maybe she's a patient, or maybe she was a patient. But either way, it's kind of freaky that she stopped and looked at the camera. You know, if she's a ghost, okay, cool, that's neat. If she's a human being, I do think it's very safe for her to be wandering around a dilapidated mental hospital that's completely abandoned. But if she's with those two dudes, I'm sure she's perfectly safe. But yeah, again, we don't get to see any more footage because it was too long. I mean, I think the longest that it should have been was the original video that was posted. Let me know what you guys think about this one. Do you think there's a perfectly reasonable explanation for this? Let me know in the comments. I really want to hear your thoughts. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to hit that like button. And if you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe so you don't miss out on any of our future videos. We have new ones coming out all the time, and you do want to miss out on anything. Alright guys, thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.